It's been a minute since of the recordings that we have done, but Lower Decks came out. I think the whole season's out now, and we were kind of putting it off because
well, your life was all crazy for
yeah, but on top of that, it's also Lower Decks, and I don't know what to think about it. So I'm gonna try my best to reserve judgments and try to separate it because it's a cartoon. Yes, he agrees. It's meant to be fun. I don't. Okay. Again, let's just go it. Let's just do it. So this is the first one of Lower Decks. It's a pilot episode. Its title is Second Contact.
Oh, okay.
Ready?
Ready.
Let's do it.
Romulan whiskey is against regulation.
Yeah, because it's awesome. Oh, man, they got all sorts of great stuff.
It's not Romulan Ale?
I guess it's a different new thing.
So she should totally be kicked out of Starfleet.
Yeah, seems a little
Honor! I demand honor!
unstable.
Yeah, you definitely should be just immediately kicked out of Starfleet. Like, you drunkenly attacked a crew member with a batleth. That's what they started the show with. The ship looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's a weird mix of a couple different things.
I'm a big...
That's what I always thought Voyager would do in the opening credits. Like, you're about to hit that ice. You shouldn't be skating there.
What? Romulan Borg War? Okay. They don't
And
care.
they just leave. That's what got people mad online. They were like, you're in the opening credits showing them abandoning a fight.
Very Rick and Morty-esque monster. It's weird seeing the TNG font.
Yeah. I never watched Rick and Morty, so, like, I don't...
Oh. This might be made for those people.
Well, I think it's made by those people.
What?
Yeah.
Alex Kurtzman. Curseman.
Can I just say that I'm really honored to be...
Keep it moving, Lower Decks. Next!
We hate you here.
Welcome, Brad Boimler, Ensign, Command Division.
Oh my gosh! I've never worked with commanders before. I'm in sciences. I can't believe we're gonna serve side by side. Scientists and commanders and elite team.
That happens all the time. What is...
I guess because that's how the audience is, they imagine feels.
Whenever you think for yourself, they knock you back down.
You know, for someone who claims to...
Yeah, that sounds like Star Trek.
Ops, storage, ops. Actually, there's like a ton of ops. It's like, guys, I think we have ops covered.
It's kind of like that's what you need to operate a ship.
What this map doesn't
I love the warp core. The warp core rules.
I just don't know what to do with this show. I was just staring for a while.
A lot of it is telling people who've never seen Star Trek before what's on the ship. So it's like,
but also
okay.
talking about how crappy it is.
Yeah, it's...
Wow, this is a very detailed program.
Nothing like a cold beer after a smooth second contact.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah!
I feel like there's nothing here for me.
I love that everyone on the ship is immature. I mean, yeah, you don't get to be a bridge officer without, like, being careful about that kind of thing.
Yeah.
There isn't any wiggle room on the Cerritos, not when lives are at stake. Do you disagree?
So she's my favorite character, but she's probably going to be evil or something in this. Remember when they were advertising the show? They're like, we really should try to get kids like 4 to 5 to watch this show and get into Star Trek. And so far we went to a nudie gym, and this guy's biting people's faces off.
Someone brought a virus back from the planet. This is happening all over the...
It's almost as if transporters have sensors that can detect viruses.
Yeah, that's realistic. The ship is in peril, but we're on a date.
Hey, you! Green girl!
I do like that she's got like the Crusher lab jacket.
I was laughing at how we're just sitting
I
here.
just feel like I've not said much, and everything I'm saying sounds mean, so I'm like,
Humble farmers who can't afford to wait for Starfleet bureaucracy to notice them.
because Starfleet's the worst.
You've been on what? 4 planets?
5, if you include Vulcan.
Of course I don't include stupid Vulcan. You may as well count Earth.
I was counting Earth.
You don't know anything?
Ensign Boimler to Cerritos, 2 for emergency training.
Well, that was just dumb.
That's my heart. It hurts when you pump it. Oh, God. Oh.
Sorry.
Who beamed them
Who
up?
beamed them up? If that was, you wouldn't warn them.
Well, you survived an epic, life-threatening situation together. Don't you share a bond?
Oh, for sure. But she had zero interest in figuring out why a red alert overrode maintenance.
I would totally break up with someone over that too.
Can you even? I mean, who has time for romance when there's a level 2 diagnostic just sitting there waiting to be run?
Don't have to tell me twice. I am right there.
Mariner.
I agree with them on that point.
Yeah, I thought you were like a boring worker drone, and you are. But inside that drone is an ambitious little weasel, and inside that weasel might be a tiny human being.
That's sort of unfair.
This is a moment.
Seems like ambitious weaselness is what you hate about the bridge, so what?
You know Deanna Troy? You're about to be banging.
There was, yeah, no, I feel like if this was like a Futurama show, I wouldn't have had a problem. But the inherent problem is that you're forcing this to be Star Trek.
They're invoking TNG heavily, which kind of means everything they say about the bridge on their ship is supposed to maybe be commentary, and if it's not, that's what it ends up reading as to a Star Trek fan.
Yeah.
And so it feels like you're insulting the bridge of the crew and like saying that they cared about having their name in history, which you never get that impression.
No.
So it's like, what? Where are you getting this?
This just reminds me of that Kurtzman interview where he was like, yeah, you know, kids have never liked Star Trek, and kids will like Star Wars, and when I was a 4-year-old, I liked Star Wars, and it's like, okay, then why are you running Star Trek anyway? But then he was saying, like, oh, we need to have an animated show to get kids in and teach them the ideals of Star Trek. I'm like, first of all, the first episode, again, nude gym, people biting each other and squeezing hearts, and the naked people a lot. First of all, I don't think 4-year-olds should be watching that. The only thing you're talking about Star Trek is the main characters are making commentaries on how bad the world of Star Trek is and the ideals that is defining Star Trek.
Right.
Or those are bad things, or those are boring, stupid things. So it's like, why even make a Star Trek show? Like, this would have been fine if this was a generic sci-fi show. But you're directly making negative commentary on your source material. It's odd to me. And let's explain Star Trek for people who have no clue what Star Trek is repeatedly, and let's name drop a bunch of characters. So what are we supposed to do? Oh, they're mentioning the characters we like.
Right,
I just don't, there was nothing here for me. There was like, I chuckled a couple times.
Yeah, there was a couple of...
There's a couple funny lines.
Jokes. It was like way too much of that spider monster. Also, again, like, if I'm a kid, I don't want to see a giant spider monster.
That looks like a rectum sucking on a person.
That was not my kind of thing.
No. All right.
Also, if you recall, I said that if they kill off one of the crewmen every episode, I might get into it because then it's like, that's Lower Decks. Which they said like every 10 seconds. It felt like Lower Decks.
Yeah, so everyone should just die.
Well, yeah.
And never be brought up again.
Right? If you're going to get all cynical about it, you're the expendable ones, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
we're going to go do the next one. Next episode. Lower Decks. Season 1, Episode 2. What is it? Envoys. Ready?
Ready.
I have to do it. It's going to impregnate Deanna Troy.
He's a bad guy. He zaps people.
I shall make a feast of your misery.
It's not really zapping you that much.
And I'm...
Like, should I point out the stupidity of the opening scene or not? Like, I'm just weighing it. He went through bulkheads, but she held him. And I get it. It's a cartoon. It's not meant to be realistic. It's supposed to be making a laugh. But stop! God!
You know where laughs come from? When you have a rigid structure and then things happen once in a while that, you know, violate that structure. But if it's constantly happening, then you have no structure.
So, no laughs.
Or maybe it's just because all Klingon names sound the same, like they all have an apostrophe for some
Racist.
That's
Mariner,
What's up?
what are you doing? Get out of here. You're getting off the controls. I got
the black
Stop it.
shield
No,
is the black
it
shield.
works.
When it
It
comes
works.
down and it goes up, black
Stop it.
shield.
That was like the part that they thought was the best, so they put it in the trailer.
Can we talk for a second?
Just for a second? Don't tease me. Come on, man. You're my number one with the bullet systems guy. Got time for you. I'm sure wherever you end up, they'll be lucky to have you.
Aw, thanks, guys. I'm gonna miss you.
White engineering is always the best.
Right? I like this engineer. This is like the only character I'm like, yeah.
What was she saying?
I don't know. I like the bottom of the shoe, I guess.
I know, that's all I was thinking. I missed when she was most of those scenes. I'm like, I want a shoe like that. You could walk around and leave little insignias. I got to tell you, I like the art of Klingons in this. The humans are very cartoonized, but like a mildly cartoonized Klingon's cool looking.
Not back to it by the next rotation.
He sassy walks.
Don't knock it. But I am not going to speed walk. What is this speed walking? You know we're going the same speed.
Stop it. It's to conserve energy. Section 31 does this.
They beat up a kid.
Maintain course.
Captain, we're being drawn.
That is how their trainings go.
Captain, we need orders.
Maintain course.
Ship destroyed. Casualties 105.
Okay, it was funny. You got me one.
Try employing the Janeway protocol.
Got it. And what's that?
Good one. All right, let's try something more straightforward. Computer, command.
What were they getting at?
Captain, we're directly in the path of a small asteroid. Should we move to avoid?
Do the Janeway protocol.
Are you sure, sir?
What is it?
Yes.
It better be good.
Collision alert, sir! The kindergarten on deck 8! It's gone! Now the pre-K is gone! All the ship's children have been ejected!
Just the kids.
All those kids.
Dude, he's just melting. I'm holding. Look at this. Look at him in there.
This boy wants to
Oh, no.
There's just monsters wandering around the Risa district.
Take your mind off of this. Think about work. Think about the warp core.
I got burned in the warp core.
Those are dilithium burns? How are you still alive, man? You should be dead.
Get out of here!
That is why an engineer shouldn't be in medical. It was a cool shot. Was that Morn?
Oh,
I kind of looked for a second. Was it? Hang on. He had that guy right there. Was that a cartoonized Morn?
Maybe, yeah.
I should just study bugs on a far-off planet and then eventually get eaten, and no one will even know until they stumble across my distress.
That's a good lower deck strategy, though.
And then they'll have to spend a bunch of time deciphering how things went wrong based on my final shaky video log.
I'm sure
Security isn't like the other departments, no. It's a higher power. We stand shoulder to shoulder, holding the line against the
That's why the engineer's heart beats.
My heart's in engineering. I'd like permission to leave the Bear Pack.
Rutherford, that is outstanding. Gotta be true to yourself. Am I right, Bears?
Oh, Bears!
Aw, bears! This episode is a million times better than the first one.
Yes.
And it's not great, but it's better.
Perhaps I could provide you transport.
If the Vasquez
No,
rocks.
thank you, sir. What are you doing? We can't trust a Ferengi.
What? He's not a Ferengi.
Racist.
After this long day of being a badass, Captain Know-It-All over here doesn't even know what a Ferengi.
Figure out that he got played.
Yeah.
Ah, Mariner, was I convincing enough for you? Human!
Wow. Isn't it amazing?
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I like him. I think he's my favorite.
Yeah, but he's not having a weird glitch out.
So that one was not as bad. I feel like they should not have started with that pilot. That one at least made me laugh a few times.
Right, well, it had things that felt like actual Star Trek, like, oh, you want a different place because, yeah, well, I'll be supportive and, like, validating my lower officers. I mean, yeah, the animation is fine.
Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, again, like, I can't help but think of, but I do this with even the ones I like. I'm like, what about this little thing that doesn't make sense? Like, I'm Mr. Booksmart, but I don't know about our non-interference protocols.
Yeah.
Like, you don't just walk into a bar and break up a fight because you're Starfleet. Starfleet doesn't equal Galaxy Police.
Well, I would say, Trip did the same thing, but that was also before the Federation was there.
Yes.
Yeah, that one wasn't as bad. It was fun. It actually had some funny moments. Like I said, inherently, some people were just mad that they were getting an animated series. I'm like, you do know they've had one before, right? That wasn't what was bothering me. I think that their big mistake was the pilot. If I'd only seen that and didn't desire to keep going, I wouldn't have watched.
The pilot
more.
was extra like gross and such. It was like that's what you're starting with.
Yeah.
You want us to know like we're doing a really gross cartoon that's gonna be edgy, right? Like okay.
Okay, I've seen those. There's a lot of those. I don't need a Star Trek one of those.
If I wanted to watch Rick and Morty, I would just watch Rick and Morty. Like,
yeah. I think, too, one of the things I don't like is when there's a lot of that kind of overt fan service in lieu of substance. That's what I was worried about, too. Like, even, like, at the end of the pilot, they were like, hey, let's just name a bunch of characters. To what end? Yeah. All right, so that's it. We did it. We watched them. There's more. We'll watch them later.
Yeah.
Bye.